As BTS celebrates its 12th anniversary today, all eyes turn to the Goyang Stadium, where J-Hope's Hope on the Stage encore concert unfolded into an unforgettable moment of unity, emotion, and resilience. But beyond the glittering lights and roaring crowd, the shadows of a legal storm still linger. HYBE and Chairman Bang Si-hyuk have confirmed that the Sasaeng case involving Jungkook is not being set aside. Despite his return to the spotlight, tonight's concert delivered a thunderous surprise when Jungkook, freshly discharged from military service, took to the stage for the first time in over a year. Joining J-Hope and Jin, who himself completed service earlier this year, the trio ignited a frenzy of emotions among ARMY. The long-awaited performance of I Wonder, a soulful collaboration between Jungkook and J-Hope, brought tears to fans both in the arena and online. But it wasn't just the music that caught the world's attention. Just hours before the concert, a photo posted by Twitter user @ChartJungkook at 5:58 Universal Time Coordinated, 12:58 p.m. Western Indonesian Time, went viral, showing Jungkook gripping a microphone with quiet intensity. He wore a sleek black jacket over a gray shirt, paired with a bold "Make Tokyo Great Again" cap, a rare piece from Masanori Morikawa's underground fashion label. His look screamed understated rebellion and, perhaps, unspoken defiance. While fans celebrated his return, HYBE issued a parallel statement through official legal channels. The Sasaeng incident, where an obsessive fan was caught trespassing into Jungkook's residence mere hours after his military discharge, will be pursued to the full extent of the law. A spokesperson confirmed that the label's legal department, in coordination with Bang Si-hyuk personally, has been working closely with prosecutors since the report was first filed earlier this month. The artist's physical and mental safety remains our utmost priority, HYBE stated. We are grateful for the fans' love, but we will not overlook violations of privacy and criminal actions. Chairman Bang Si-hyuk has instructed our legal team to handle this matter with zero tolerance. Though Jin had been spotted accompanying Jungkook to the police station days ago, tonight he stood on a different battlefield, the stage. Yet fans noted that Jin never strayed far from Jungkook, staying just a few feet behind him throughout the performance, his eyes scanning the crowd with quiet alertness, protective as ever. Behind the cheers, glitter, and confetti, there was a growing sense that this wasn't just a performance, it was a statement. Jungkook, J-Hope, and Jin weren't just celebrating BTS's legacy, they were defying fear. Returning to the stage wasn't an escape from the Sasaeng scandal. It was a reclaiming of space,
of joy,
of safety. And post-concert interviews backstage, insiders revealed that Bang Si-hyuk had personally called Jungkook before the event, not only to encourage him, but to reassure him that HYBE would not let this case fade into media silence. "You just sing," Bang was quoted as saying. "We'll handle the rest." As fans trended hashtags like #Justice for Jungkook, #Protect Our Idols, and #BTS 12th anniversary, it became clear that tonight was not only about nostalgia, it was about solidarity. Between members, between idols and fans, and between Jungkook and his right to live without fear in a world where the lines between admiration and obsession too often blur. BTS's 12th anniversary became a powerful reminder. Even in celebration, the fight for safety continues, and as the last notes of I Wonder echoed across Goyang Stadium, the crowd fell into a momentary hush, a collective breath held tight, as if the universe itself paused to acknowledge what had just unfolded. Jungkook bowed deeply, his hand pressed to his chest. Jin and J-Hope flanked him, offering not just companionship, but visible reassurance. The crowd erupted, but behind the applause, many fans couldn't shake the emotional weight hanging in the air. Jungkook's return wasn't just a performance, it was an act of defiance. A young man, recently invaded in his most sacred space, his home, was now standing under stadium lights, vulnerable but unbroken. And standing beside him was Jin, the eldest, the protector, and J-Hope, the eternal sunshine, both refusing to let him walk this path alone. Shortly after the concert, sources close to HYBE confirmed that evidence gathered from security footage, eyewitness accounts, and internal security logs had been handed over to authorities. The Sasaeng, whose identity remains undisclosed due to legal privacy laws, is believed to have stalked Jungkook's family in the days leading up to his discharge. The fact that the individual gained access to the perimeter of his residence so quickly after military release has raised alarm bells not only inside HYBE, but within South Korea's larger entertainment industry. Bang Si-hyuk, known for rarely speaking directly in the media, has reportedly taken personal charge of the case's oversight. Insiders say he views this not as a mere security breach, but as a systemic failure of idol protection infrastructure, one that he plans to challenge head-on, even if it means lobbying for stricter anti-stalker laws in South Korea. Jungkook didn't return to the stage for headlines, one HYBE staff member shared anonymously. He returned because music is his truth. But rest assured, no one is pretending this incident is over. It's just beginning. Fans noticed that after the concert, HYBE staff were unusually active around the venue, not only assisting with cleanup, but conducting what appeared to be post-event security reviews. A short clip, shared by fans, showed Jungkook escorted swiftly out of the venue by both security and Jin, who maintained a protective stance as cameras flashed from every direction. Meanwhile, back online, the fandom wasn't silent either. Armies trended more than a dozen hashtags globally. Many called out South Korea's lenient punishment for Sasaeng behavior in the past, demanding harsher penalties for those who violate an idol's right to safety and peace. Petitions were being circulated within hours, tagging lawmakers and media outlets, with direct appeals to the National Assembly. Throughout it all, Jungkook stayed silent, but his message was loud and clear. He would not hide. He would not be reduced to a victim cowering behind PR statements. He would face his fear, with a microphone in one hand and his brothers beside him. For Jin, this wasn't just another stage appearance either. His quiet presence throughout the night reflected a man who had already promised something far deeper behind the scenes. Those close to the members say that Jin personally committed to being at Jungkook's side until the legal process reached its conclusion. Whether that takes weeks or months, Jin has adjusted his own schedule to remain close by. The legacy of BTS, 12 years strong, has always been built on more than choreography and chart-topping hits. It's been built on love, trust, brotherhood. Tonight, the group proved that once again. Even under fire, even under threat, as the stage lights dimmed and fans began filing out of the stadium, many looked back one last time, hoping to imprint the sight of their idols standing tall despite everything. What they witnessed wasn't just a concert. It was a quiet revolution, a declaration that no idol, no matter how famous, should ever have to endure fear and silence again. And while the music may have stopped for the night, the message lingers in the air. You can stalk the house, you can breach the gates, but you will never silence the heart of BTS. Backstage, after the final curtain fell and the lights shifted to low amber glows, there was no champagne popping or loud celebration. Instead, there was silence, solemn nods, quiet embraces, and a shared understanding between the members that tonight was not just a win, it was a shield raised. Jungkook, who just hours before had been bracing himself for the weight of public scrutiny, now sat quietly in the corner of the dressing room, tall over his shoulders, sweat still beading down his neck. His hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from the adrenaline of standing face to face with the very public he thought might see him as weak. Jin walked over and handed him a bottle of water. No words were exchanged. None were needed. This wasn't just camaraderie. This was protection in human form. For Jin, being there wasn't a decision, it was instinct. Ever since the Sasaeng incident, Jin had taken on the unspoken role of Jungkook's shadow, watching, guiding, shielding. His military training might be complete, but now he was deploying that discipline for something even more sacred: family. Meanwhile, J-Hope was on a call with Bang Si-hyuk, who had been monitoring everything from HYBE's command center. Sources later confirmed that Bang had doubled security for every BTS member attending the event, even those who weren't officially performing. He reportedly made the call to initiate legal proceedings against the Sasaeng suspect the moment Jungkook stepped on stage, refusing to let the emotional weight of the performance distract from the gravity of the crime. "We're not letting this go," Bang was quoted as saying in internal staff communications.
no distraction, no delay.
File everything tonight. Legal staff, publicists, and private security worked into the early morning hours, compiling witness statements, video recordings from the concert, and ongoing digital threats that had begun resurfacing the moment Jungkook was confirmed to be performing again. HYBE's legal team worked hand-in-hand with cybercrime units to trace potential accomplices or coordinated harassment networks, and yet, despite the heaviness of the moment, the fans, the true fans, continued to offer light. Outside the stadium, fans lit candles in a quiet line, holding signs that didn't just say, "We missed you, but we'll defend you." Jungkook, from inside the blacked-out van leaving the venue, saw them through the tinted glass. He whispered something that only Jin and J-Hope heard, a whisper so quiet, it barely stirred the air. But Jin turned to him, smiled, and replied, "They know, and that's why you came back." The media tried to spin different angles the next morning, some calling the concert a distraction, others praising the bravery. But none of them captured what truly happened, a reckoning, a reclamation. The moment a global superstar stood back up after being violated in his own sanctuary, not to prove his strength to the world, but to remind himself and every young artist watching that they are not alone in the days to follow. Bang Si-hyuk is expected to give an official press conference, detailing HYBE's commitment to long-term legal reforms surrounding celebrity privacy and protection. Insiders hint that he is planning to partner with legal advocacy groups to push for the introduction of what could be dubbed the Jungkook Law, a bill that would increase punishments for stalking, enhance private residence protection orders, and offer legal aid to idols too afraid to take action on their own. And what of Jungkook? He has yet to make a public statement. But those who saw him tonight, standing between his hyungs, bathed in light and love, know this much. He's not hiding. Not anymore. The message BTS sent tonight wasn't sung in lyrics or spoken in fan meetings. IT was seen in a silent glance, a shared mic, a shoulder-to-shoulder brotherhood that refused to break. IT was spoken in a fierce legal response from HYBE and Bang Si-hyuk that made one thing crystal clear. You may have crossed the line, but now, we're drawing one you'll never get past again.